Okay, so now for this video we're going to be talking about some really important vocab that's going to be what we're going to be using for the rest of this chapter. So first off, we have two different types of angles that we can get from this picture and really in all of our shapes and everything that we'll be doing later on this semester. And those are that angles formed above and below parallel lines are called exterior angles. And angles formed between parallel lines are called interior angles. And so looking at this picture here, everything in here is going to be the interior, and everything above and below it's going to be the exterior. And so that will come into play in these definitions below. So for identifying pairs of angles, some important vocab that we are going to be using throughout the rest of this chapter is, for first, a transversal. That is a line that intersects two or more coplanar lines at different points. And so in this picture here, this is my transversal. It is the line that is intersecting these two lines at two different points. And then we get four different types of angle pairs from this. The first one is corresponding angles, and those are angles that are on the same side of the transversal. So again, remember, this is my transversal right here, so they're on the same side, so either the left or the right, in the same position. So for example, in this picture, this angle right here, let's call it 1, is on the right hand side of the transversal, so the corresponding angle down here to angle 1 would be on the right hand side and then in the same position. This one is above this line here, and so the corresponding angle would also be above that line. So those would be an example of corresponding. And so if I were to continue on, the corresponding angle to this one would be this one. They're in the same position. So for this would be the top left corner. So if I was just looking at these four angles and these four angles, it's the top left corner. These would be the corresponding angles here, so the bottom left corner. And here and here. So again, they're just on the same side of the transversal and in the same position. Alternate interior angles, on the other hand, those are angles that lie inside the two lines and on opposite sides of the transversal. So that would be, for instance, angle 3 and 4. They're on the inside of the lines, but they're on opposite sides of the transversal. And so the other example would be those two right there. Alternate exterior angles, on the other hand, those are angles that lie outside the two lines and on opposite sides of the transversal. So they're really similar to the alternate interior angles, but now you're just doing the same thing on the outside. So if I had, for instance, angle 5 here and angle 6. They're on the outside of the two lines, but on opposite sides of the transversal. So the other example would be there. And then the last angle pairs that we have are consecutive interior angles, and those are angles that lie inside the two lines, but they are on the same side of the transversal. So like for example, here inside the two lines, but they're on the same side. The other example would be this angle and this angle. Inside on the same side of the transversal. Okay, that's it for this video, and go ahead and move on to the next one where we will be doing some examples of identifying angle types.